In a small town, there lived a boy named Arman. He was intelligent, full of potential, and had big dreams. More than anything, he wanted to become a renowned doctor. However, there was one major problem: his mind was never under his control. Arman lacked discipline. His thoughts constantly wandered, and he found it difficult to focus. Whenever he sat down to study, he would get distracted by his phone, social media, or simply daydreaming. He often told himself, "I'll study later, there's still plenty of time." But later never came. His parents and teachers tried to guide him, explaining the importance of focus and discipline, but he never took their advice seriously. Arman believed that intelligence alone was enough to succeed. One day, his school announced the results of a scholarship exam. Arman had taken the test with high hopes, dreaming of securing the scholarship that would help him achieve his goal of becoming a doctor. But when the results were published, he was devastated. He had failed. His friends, who had studied with dedication, passed with top marks. His teachers, who once praised his potential, now looked at him with disappointment. Arman felt ashamed, not because he wasn't smart, but because deep down, he knew he had wasted his time. That evening, he sat alone, reflecting on his failure. He thought about all the hours he had thrown away on distractions. He realized that intelligence alone wasn't enough. Without discipline, success was impossible. Determined to change, Arman decided to seek advice from someone who had mastered self-discipline. Seeking the wise monk. In the outskirts of town, there lived a wise monk. People said he was once an ordinary man but had transformed his life through sheer mental discipline. The next morning, Arman visited the monastery where the monk resided. He found the old monk meditating under a tree, his face calm and serene. Arman bowed and said, "Master, I struggle to control my mind. I want to be successful, but I keep getting distracted. Please teach me how to discipline my mind." The monk opened his eyes and smiled. "Ah, the restless mind, that is the greatest challenge of all. Come, let me tell you a story. The Archer's Lesson." Many years ago, the monk began, there was a young man named Azza who dreamed of becoming the best archer in the kingdom. He was strong and talented, but he lacked focus. His mind was always scattered. One day, he would practice with dedication, and the next, he would waste time on distractions. Seeking guidance, Azza approached a renowned archery master and said, "I want to be the best archer. Please teach me." The master took Azza to a riverbank where the water flowed steadily. He handed him a bow and arrow and pointed at a leaf floating in the river. "Shoot the leaf," he instructed. Azza aimed and released the arrow, but it missed. The master asked, "What did you see when you aimed?" Azza replied, "I saw the river, the trees, the sky, and the leaf." The master shook his head and said, "That is your problem. Your eyes see too many things at once. A true archer sees only his target and nothing else." Determined to learn, Azza practiced for months. He trained his mind to focus solely on his target. Eventually, when the master asked again, Azza answered, "I see only the leaf." This time, when he released the arrow, it struck the target perfectly. Applying the lesson. The monk looked at Arman and said, "Your mind is like Azar's, it is distracted by everything around you. If you want to succeed, you must train your mind to focus only on your goal." Arman nodded, understanding the lesson, but he was still unsure how to apply it. "Master, how do I train my mind?" The monk smiled and gave him 4 simple rules. Control your thoughts. Every time your mind wanders, bring it back to the task at hand. Like the archer, see only your goal. Create a routine. A disciplined mind needs structure. Set a daily schedule and follow it strictly. Remove distractions. Identify what steals your focus, whether it's your phone, TV, or unnecessary activities, and eliminate them while working. Be consistent. Mental discipline isn't built in a day. It requires daily effort, just like an athlete trains his body every day. Arman took the monk's advice seriously. He made a study schedule and followed it strictly. Whenever his mind wandered, he reminded himself of his goal. He stopped using social media while studying and even deleted unnecessary apps from his phone. At first, it was difficult, his mind craved distractions. But Arman didn't give up. Day by day, his focus improved, and he was able to study for hours without losing concentration. Arman's success. Months later, when he sat for another important exam, he was prepared. This time, he didn't just pass, he secured the top rank. Arman's success wasn't due to luck or intelligence alone. It was his disciplined mind that led him there. He finally understood that success isn't about how smart you are, but how well you control your mind. Years later, as he stood on stage receiving an award for academic excellence, he remembered the monk's words. The mind is like a wild horse. If you don't control it, it will take you wherever it wants. But if you train it, it will take you exactly where you want to go. From that day forward, Arman lived by one principle. Discipline your mind, and success will follow.